You can order either way. You can choose battery or hydrogen.
But with hydrogen, how would you fill the tank if you have yet to build the network?
Hey, I'm Steven and this is Solving the Money Problem. If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. So in this video, I'm going through a few clips from a recent podcast interview with Trevor Milton, Nikola Motors ex-CEO, founder, and current executive chairman. This interview is incredibly insightful. Jason Calacanis has a way of just asking the right questions and just allowing Trevor to talk. So let's see, what did he have to say? Hey guys, if you'd like to help out the channel and get up to 2 free stocks, check out the links in the description to Webull and Stake. Let's get back to it.
What I did is I knew day one, once we started coming out, we had all this gravy train coming in from the semi-truck program. My question was, okay, that's great, but I'll never touch the average consumer. So therefore 90% of investors will probably never invest in me. So I needed to touch the consumer. And so the truck is for the profit, the semi-truck, the pickup truck's for the consumer. And the consumer is the one who is part of the Robinhood portfolio, is part of the family office or whatever. And that's where all the valuation of the company comes from.
Am I imagining things here? Did he just imply that the only reason that they created the Nikola Badger was to get Robinhood investors to invest in Nikola's stock? That legitimately just happened. I'm going to watch that again.
Once we started coming out, we had all this gravy train coming in from the semi-truck program. My question was, okay, that's great, but I'll never touch the average consumer. So therefore 90% of investors will probably never invest in me. So I needed to touch the consumer. And so the truck is for the profit, the semi-truck, the pickup truck's for the consumer. And the consumer is the one who is part of the Robinhood portfolio, is part of the family office or whatever. And that's where all the valuation of the company comes from.
This just sounds so wrong to me. Guys, let me know in the comments below. Maybe I'm overreacting. But for the founder, the ex-CEO, to be explaining that the primary driver for them creating the Nikola Badger, their commercial pickup truck, it wasn't to help displace gasoline and fossil fuel burning diesel pickup trucks, etc. It wasn't to change the world. No. It was to attract the 90% of retail investors who wouldn't care about the company otherwise, because who cares about semis? By the way, full credit to Trevor. The plan itself, absolutely brilliant. If you don't believe that retail investors are going to be interested in your company, sure, create some renderings for a product you apparently will be selling in the future or will be revealed at Nikola World in December. Of course, that's a great way to get attention, to draw in these new investors. Great plan, Trevor. Thanks for sharing.
Who's going to build a pickup truck?
That's not been announced yet, but it'll be coming out soon. That's it. That's probably one of the biggest announcements that the entire investment community wants to know about Nikola. And that hits very soon.
Okay.
That's a huge deal. And it'll be built at their factories, through their supply chain. You're talking about billions of dollars in saving, with the ability to build hundreds of thousands of these without any type of growing pains.
And it's going to be hydrogen, or is it going to be battery?
Both. You can order either way. You can choose battery or hydrogen.
But with hydrogen, how would you fill the tank if you have yet to build the network?
Well, in some states like California, have hydrogen. You already have a lot of hydrogen stations, but we have 700 hydrogen stations going up right now throughout America. And it's just going to take time. We won't sell hydrogen in every market. We're going to say, look, as soon as our station comes online, then you can buy the hydrogen version there.
Why would somebody buy the hydrogen? Because it seems like we said earlier that battery kicks hydrogen's ass in low load situations. If we take that as a given,
it does.
Who has a pickup truck that's going to be going for 10 hours hauling something huge? That seems like a tiny part of the market. What is that market?
No, about 30 to 40% of the pickup truck market actually uses their truck for work and pulls trailers. So in that situation, you do not want a battery truck.
I just want to chime in here and say, great questioning from Jason Calacanis. He's being reasonable and amicable, but he is asking important questions. Some really great points there. And Trevor's responses are really worth paying attention to. Let's see what else he had to say.
So you're going to be in the battery business. You're going to build battery packs.
Oh yeah, you have to be. You'll never make it as an OEM if you don't build your own battery. That's the most critical part.
What do you think Tesla's going to announce with this new battery technology? They had bought that battery company. Is it going to be that the life cycles of batteries will get much better? Costs will go down. What do you think it's going to be?
Yeah, I think you're going to be cost, material type, things like that. But I think, he's...
Is it just me, or does Trevor seem a little bit fixated on Elon Musk rather than Tesla? He's...
Okay, look, you got Samsung, LG, and Panasonic spending tens of billions of dollars in research and development. Why would you want to try to engineer your own cell? You could just pay Panasonic to do that. Like, why try to? You don't see.
Well, I think I think the reason they would be doing it is because they think they can do it better, and that if they do 10 different things concurrently, 10, 20% better, they change the world.
They can. The complexity is that you can't focus, and that's okay. But I mean, look, it's a tough one for me because as an entrepreneur, the easiest thing to do is be distracted. It's easy to be distracted. It's hard to focus, and maybe that's where we differentiate ourselves a little bit. As we have a lot going on as well. But there's no money in batteries. They pay $1.75 for a cell right now. Okay, the 2170. That's the going rate for billions of cells. They're $1.75 for this battery, right? And if you build it yourself, you're going to be you might be 10 or 20% cheaper than that. But then you got the capex that's going to cost 30%. So it's a net loss of 10% to do it yourself.
Unless you have a thesis that you can continue at a faster pace to lower the price, and that could make the difference, right?
It is true, but I mean, you're not getting any, that's a hope 10 years down the road. I don't know.
I do not know where to begin. Red flag of the freaking century. What, did you catch that at the end there? They won't pay off for 10 years. So the implication there from Trevor appears, in my personal opinion, to be that he's not looking 10 years ahead. Why would you make your own batteries? It's going to take a long time to recoup your capital costs. Why would you do that when someone else can do them? And you paid 10% more, yeah. This is the title of the freaking video. Is this real life? I need to do a walk-off. Fuck me.
I don't ever overrule my board. If someone doesn't like something, I want to know why. I'm a very objective guy. People may not think this, but I won't do something if even one of my guys objects to it. I want to find out why, and if I can't convince him, then I won't be able to convince the market.
Does that sound like a leader to you or more of a subordinate?
I didn't want that much control.
They didn't want me to have so much control and power in the company.
No, actually, I stepped up. I didn't want that much control.
They didn't want me to have so much control and power in the company.
Hey, everyone's different. Let me know in the comments, show of hands. Do you want a leader who is decisive and does have the final say? Or do you want somebody who placates? And if a single person on the board doesn't agree, just goes, oh, okay, well, you don't agree with me. So yeah, I'm just not going to pursue this idea that I had, even if I believe that it's right, important, and necessary.
I'm curious who you are, because I haven't heard of you before this. I've been in the business for a while, but I don't know everybody, but I know a lot of people. You had 5 companies before this. Which one was the most successful objectively in terms of outcome?
Well, outcome, it would have been my previous one, which was D-Hybrid Systems, where we built hydrogen and natural gas storage. Biggest failure was my biggest success, in my opinion. That's where I differentiate. It's a company called upillar.com. It was, we did online e-commerce. It was very similar to Amazon. We built the first shopping cart out there that I know. I don't know of anyone before it, but what that shopping cart did is allow you to buy 20 items from 20 different people, put it all into one cart. We would handle the merchant process one time, and then we would split it up under different invoices. We actually had that before anyone else, before Amazon did. And then obviously Amazon grew and it became incredible and they kicked our butt. But we just couldn't handle the growth.
If you were to look back on that time, top 2 or 3 mistakes that you fixed now in your mind.
I tried to scale too quickly. That was a big problem of mine. We were spread out thin. The second one is that I was in the wrong area. I was in a small town in Utah called St. George, and that there's no one there that does investments into the internet at all.
Right.
And so I was in this town where no one even knew about internet investments. They knew nothing about it. And I was trying to raise money from people that were doing construction. And so it was just a terrible, terrible idea. I should have been if I was in Silicon Valley, I would have probably raised $5 or $10 billion if I wanted to. Because we're growing, we had 80 million people come on our site. I mean, we're insane growth.
Who am I to question what may or may not theoretically have been possible in a point in the past? We'll never know.
A year prior to going public, I told my board, we're going to go public. And they said, not a chance. You're an idiot. And I said, listen, you got to understand, you got to just trust me. We got to go public. We need to. And they said, no, never.
But then you sell $70 million in shares at that same time. Is that correct?
Yep. Yeah.
So how do you, that's something people were really critical of. Why, if you're so long the vision, would you take 70 million off the table before the product's even launched? That was a red flag of red flags for me and for others.
That was the elephant in the room. Now, look, I totally understand from Trevor's point of view. Pull some money out of your company, buy your house. I get it, by the way, if you don't know, Trevor Milton currently owns the most expensive piece of real estate ever sold in Utah. Good on him. Awesome place, by the way, the ranch. It's a sick home. I'd love to live there. Not while Trevor's there, obviously, I don't like to share my places. But the point is, I totally get it. I totally understand why he would draw the money out. But let's just consider this for a moment. The founder, the ex-CEO of this company, has taken out $70 million of cash by selling shares and bought a house, and the company hasn't generated any revenue, sold any products, even manufactured any products yet. This captain is definitely not going down with the ship.
And they said, we'll buy some of those shares from you so you can live on this. So you're not focused on money during the time that you are running this company. We want you to have some money out now. It's smart. And we want you to focus on Nikola, not focus on how you're going to pay your bills or pay for your house or whatever else. So they came in and they offered to buy, as part of that deal, they offered to buy $70 million of my shares at the exact same rate they paid for everything else.
Yeah, no, there wasn't anything nefarious of it. Just except the signal of, oh, he's selling his shares. But it wound up being 7% of the total proceeds, or ballpark of that, of this whole thing. So it's not like it's outrageous. It is life-changing money. Certainly, it's not chump change.
The board has released me to be able to borrow on up to 16% of my shares, which is a couple $100 million worth of.
You own 30% of the company now?
Somewhere slightly below the 30% mark. And my goal is to get up to. My goal is to try to over time is to buy up to about 35%. Got it.
So you sold some, but now you've got conviction again, and you're buying again.
Well, I've always had conviction, but the difference is now is that I've got, it's smart. Every investor in the world will tell you should take some off the table. Yes. Every investor. Yes. No, like anyone who tells you should never have anything off the table is an idiot. It's just a flat out idiot. They should never be given advice. I mean,
diversification is a cornerstone of any wealth accumulation strategy for sure.
But you make better business decisions when you're not tied on money.
But you're taking loans against your equity holdings to buy more equity. That's considered a very high risk behavior, isn't it? Like that's taking margin.
Very small amount. We're talking 16%. 16%. And so it would have to collapse by over 80 for me to even be affected. And I got money to buy those out. If it collapsed that low, I just buy them out. I got cash. Right. So there is zero risk for me to do this. It's a big commitment, but it's no risk. It just means I would lose my huge, my nice nest egg.
Right.
But I've already got my house paid for. I got my things paid for. Like, I'm okay to take that risk. I believe in the company. It's all right.
Now, guys, I'm not here to pick on Trevor or Nikola Motors, but we do need to acknowledge the inconsistencies here. In that prior clip, we saw Trevor literally say there is zero risk, no risk, and then in the same breath talk about the fact that there is a risk and he's comfortable with taking that risk because he's okay. His house is paid off. His things are paid for. This is important. You can infer from this. He's out there as the public face of Nikola Motor, talking up their products, their technology, their future revenues, all of this stuff. The same guy who's so loose with terminology, zero risk, no risk, next minute there is a risk. This really, really, really matters, and this is why I'm making this video, guys. I could be totally off. Maybe my compass is just pointing in the wrong direction. I'd love that. That'd be awesome. But everywhere I look, there's just red flag after red flag after red flag after red flag, and I would not be able to sleep well at night if I don't at least say something.
What do you need to prove this year to convince the naysayers? What do you think in the next year or two you need to prove the business model out and also to, sort of satisfy the naysayers out there?
Yeah, I think there's probably 2 or 3 things that are really important. Number one is the OEM partnership with the Badger. We're going to look really good.
Got it.
If that happens, which we believe it will from where we're at right now. If that happens, which we believe it will from where we're at right now.
I promise you guys, I'm not trying to pick on Trevor here, but my BS detector is just going off constantly. Look, maybe it's faulty. I admit that is a possibility. It's just right now my gut is just telling me it just smells really bad in the air. Just something's not right. The responses, the lack of information and insight and clarity, the flexibility with terms like zero. Oh man, it's hard work. Let's see what Trevor said as the third most important thing Nikola needs to do this year to prove critics wrong.
The third one's Nikola World. So at Nikola World is December 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
Oh man, I think Jason's look sums it up there. Apparently Nikola World, which in my opinion looks more like a, hey, look over there, a big distraction. Hey, don't worry about our production not happening. No. Shh. Hey, look at this. They're all real. They're real trucks. We got real products on. They're real. Don't touch them though. They'll break, but they're real. Huh? Yeah. Oh man, I can't. Sorry guys. I'm calling it a day on this video. Red flags for days. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I could totally be hallucinating it, but I just can't stay quiet. I'm sharing my thoughts. I'm smelling BS in the air everywhere I look. Red flags for days. I'm worried. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. And don't forget your free stocks with Webull and Stake. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, if you have any ideas for future videos, let me know. I read all your comments. P.S. If you're still watching, you're awesome. If you'd like early access, exclusive videos, regular Q&As, our private Discord server and more, consider supporting the channel at patreon.com/solvingthemoneyproblem so I can keep creating content for you guys. There's a link in the description. You can now also become a member of the channel for some exclusive perks. To learn more, click the join button next to subscribe. And don't forget to check out our merch store. Either way, the best form of support is you being here and watching, so thanks again.